Bienvenue. Hello and welcome. I'm Val again and I'm from French Ignition. Now I'd like to welcome you to part 2 of this series on masculine and feminine. If you remember, in part 1 you were exploring the concept of masculine and feminine and its importance in the French language. But we were left hanging on the crucial matter of determining whether a word in French is masculine or feminine, because that's really what matters, isn't it? So that's what we're going to look at in part 2. Now, I said in part 1 that there was a rule to determine whether a word is masculine or feminine. So without further ado, let's look at the rules. So the first thing is, and if you remember in part 1 I was telling you that the concept of masculine and feminine extends far beyond the notion of male or female, but it does include it as well. So for nouns or words, nouns are the words we use to name people, places, objects around us. So I use either or. If you're not familiar with the lingo, if you're not familiar with the concept of nouns, just think of them as words. So words that refer to people are masculine or feminine depending on the gender of the person. So that applies especially to family members, such as father is by definition a male, so it will be masculine. Woman is by definition a female, so it will be feminine. So that's the first rule. Nouns that refer to people follow the gender of the person they're referring to. Nouns or words, remember, that end with the letter E in French tend to be feminine. So that's easy enough to follow. If there's the letter E at the end of the word, then that word will tend by and large to be feminine. Nouns that end in shun, zun or zun in English or in French, because these words actually are more or less the same in English and in French. So these words also tend to be feminine. You've got words such as tension, definition, television, reason. All these words are feminine. And finally, anything that doesn't fall into these categories is masculine. So anything else is masculine. So that's fairly straightforward. Now we're going to take each point one by one and we're going to look at it in a deeper way. I'm a great believer of interactive learning, so I really wanted to include some interactive learning in this video. So let's get some practice. Now for that, you may want to have a table like the one you can see on the screen, like that, with two columns, masculine or feminine. If you don't want to be bothered writing, then just have this table in your head, just have these two categories in your head. And we're first going to look at nouns or words that refer to people. And you're going to see some words appearing, and you're going to have to put them in feminine category or the masculine category, depending on what appears on your screens. But alternatively, you can just do it in your head. So let's get started. Homme, homme. Fils, sœur, tante, mère, femme, mari, oncle, père, grand-père, frère, garçon, fille. Okay, that's all of them. Now let's see what we've got. So let's see the first one. The first one was homme. Homme, which means man. Obviously a man, so it's masculine. Sorry, nearly got it wrong here. Fils. Fils is son. By logic, a male, so it's masculine. Sœur, féminine. Tante, féminine. Mère, féminine. Femme, féminine. Mari, masculine. Oncle, masculine. Père, père, it's masculine, and it looks like there's a wee mistake here. It shouldn't say fils, père, that doesn't make any sense. Just a wee mistake here, so correct it. It means father. Père is father. Grand-père, masculine. Frère, masculine. Garçon, masculine. And fille, féminine. So that's pretty straightforward. Now let's do the same activity, but this time with nouns or words that end in E. So nouns that end in E, and again is the same activity. You're going to see some words appearing and you simply have to put them in the correct category. Now the thing is, there is in the list of nouns or words that I've chosen, there's a recurring pattern in some of the words between the English and the French. So something that would allow you to work out all the words that are similar in French and in English. See if you can spot that pattern as well. So here they are. Remember that nouns that end in E are feminine. Jardin, chien, famille, chat, animal, pluie, géographie, chapeau, trilogie, manteau, neurologie, assiette. Okay, so let's see what you've got. Jardin, it doesn't end with an E, so it's masculine. Chien, same thing, doesn't end with an E, so it's masculine as well. Famille, does end with an E, it's feminine. Chat doesn't end with an E, it's masculine. Animal doesn't end with an E, it's masculine. Pluie does end with an E, it's feminine. Géographie does end with an E, it's feminine. Chapeau doesn't end with an E, it's masculine. Trilogie does end with an E. Manteau doesn't end with an E, it's masculine. Neurologie does end with an E, it's feminine. Assiette does end with an E, it's feminine. Did you spot the pattern? If you look at the last three in this column here, geography, trilogy, neurology. And if you look at the English, neurology, trilogy, geography. All the words in phi in English are exactly the same in French, but they're spelled slightly differently. They're spelled P-H-I-E instead of P-H-Y, but they're pronounced the same. Geography, geography. Trilogy, trilogy. Neurology, neurology. I'm sure you can think of quite a few on the same pattern on your own. So now we're left for going with the fun part, those words in shun and zion that were exactly the same in English, or more or less the same anyway. There may be some slight change in the pronunciation, but nothing that will affect your ability to be understood by a French person. All you have to remember is that all the words in shun or zion or zun in English are spelled exactly the same, more or less, but they're pronounced, instead of being pronounced shion, they're pronounced sion. So commotion, commotion, television, télévision, reason, raison. So that's the only thing really that you've got to remember. So we're going to have some fun with that and check some words that obviously most of those words, if not all of them, that end in tion or sion, zion or zon in French, are not only are they similar in English and French, but they're also feminine. So let's have a go at it. You're going to, if I can find that cursor, yes, here it is. You're going to see some words and you're going to work out the French for them without having ever seen them before in your life. Now, the one thing you're going to have to watch out for is the pronunciation of some letters that will affect how you pronounce these words. The letter A in French isn't pronounced A, it's pronounced A. A, as if you're happy. Ha. The letter I in French is pronounced I. And the letter I with an accent in French is pronounced E. So A, I, E. So bearing that in mind, just let's have a look at some of these words in sion or zion. Here we go, try these. Ignition in French would be, yes, ignition. Emotion in French will be émotion. Fiction in French will be fiction. Realization in French will be réalisation. Mention will be in French mention. Television, télévision. Reason, raison. Now all these words in tion, or sion, zion and zon, to use the French ending, are feminine. Now I think by now you've got a really good handling on this business of masculine and feminine. Not only have you got a good handling on masculine and feminine, but I think that within these two videos you've got roughly 150 to 200 new words of French vocabulary, which isn't bad for just a few minutes of watching a video. If you add to the words you've seen all the words in shun, and I could think of a few other ones: friction, définition, tension, demolition, all the words in phi, geography, photography, dermatology. I think if you added all these words together, I'd be surprised if you don't come up with about 150 to 200 words, just like that. So I hope that helps. There will be other videos coming up. I've not quite decided what I'm going to talk about next, but I know that my aim is going to be to enable you. So that's it for today. Au revoir et à bientôt.